And Burton, the first time I ever saw Jermaine Burton and realized he was a player was in 2020 and during the pandemic as a freshman when he played well against Alabama. I mean, I think he had a couple of touchdown catches in that game, and that was a road game, and he played well. So I'm not really worried about Alabama not playing well. I will say you could point out the fact that the offensive line, maybe the two tackles, haven't played in a road environment. But I still think, again, this is one of those things where internally there's so much good leadership for Alabama. Yeah. I think they're going to be able to perform. And I'm going to be interested to see how Tennessee performs because they have an experienced quarterback in Hendon Hooker. And Cedric Tillman, really good receiver. They've got some veterans on their team. How are they going to react to Pitt? And now Pitt has a different style of offense. Pitt with the first rounder Kenny Pickett and then and Jordan Addison, they were a little bit more explosive. It looked like last year they were more methodical in their approach, trying to run the ball against West Virginia, and we'll see if that works because
Pat Narduzzi, that's what he wants to do.
Well, yeah, he does. Mark Whipple left to go to Nebraska
and run the ball.
Yeah. And so we'll see if it works. And last year I would have said no matter what Pitt ran, it would work because I think the defense for Tennessee was not very good. We're going to find out how much it's improved. Now, they dominated against an overmatched Bowling Green team.
Ball State.
That's right. The David
same
Letterman.
Thing. Bowling Green, Ball
same
State.
League, but
just put a different uniform
because
on them. And
Bowling Green's where Urban Liar was, and of course Ball State is the alma mater, as we were saying, the Fighting Lettermans. Yeah. So Ball State was overmatched against Tennessee. Pitt should not be. It should be a much closer game. But we'll see, how much better this Tennessee defense has gotten because we're going to talk to Vince about what he saw, and I know coming out of camp they felt like Tennessee was better on defense, and they certainly looked the part for the majority of that the game against Ball State, and you had a huge lead, gave up some points late. I was quite frankly impressed with their performance. I had predicted they would win impressively, but they would give up in the 20s, and they didn't. And I thought their first unit, especially defensively, looked good for Tennessee, but again, it was an opponent that they should have dominated.
It's the old adage, though. They could have looked ugly in that game if they don't get Ball State off the field in third downs.
Yeah.
If they let Ball State pick up some first downs and they keep that defense out there, then things don't go good. And if Tennessee doesn't pick up first downs, the offense is off the field real fast. That defense is on there more. That's what we saw a lot of last year. Tennessee, one, not being able to get off the field on third down, and two, not being able to stay on the field on third downs. That was LSU's problem against Florida State. LSU let Florida State stay on the field. What was it? At one point, they were 12 of 12 or something.
Yeah.
On third downs was Florida State. LSU could not get off the field on third downs.
Interesting. Tennessee held Ball State to 5 of 14 on third down, which is pretty decent. And then it was there, and the Ball State was 0 for 2 on fourth down. They did get 343 total yards, and the majority of that was through the air, almost 300 yards passing now. Rush defense, they held Ball State to 74 yards. And like we said, Slovis did throw for 300 for Pitt, but they were, again, a little bit different in their approach. So this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah. All right, Richard with us on the phone lines this morning. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. I got a question for Scott before I ask mine to Drew. Scott, how creative can Iowa get to score 7 points this week?
Oh, my goodness. This is so pitiful. I was watching that game. I mean, look, I was so excited. It was an 11 o'clock kick, and I'm like, I get to watch Iowa play. I was so excited. And about midway through the first quarter, I was just like, we have got to fire Brian Ferentz. Got to get rid of this guy. I mean, seriously. Or get rid of Spencer Petras as quarterback. I don't know what is going on. I believe it's the last 5 games, Iowa, or 6 games, Iowa has only scored 4 touchdowns. The defense has outscored the offense in those games. It is so pathetically bad. It is bad.
Well, we are.
Yeah, luckily, South Dakota State, had no offense at all, so they were not going to score in a million years.
No.
I was just wondering how creative they can get to 7 points this week.
Oh, it was 5.
He's in a field goal last week. So.
Yeah, it was 5-3. It was 5-3 in the fourth quarter, and I'm sitting here going, "Oh,
so they
my
got a
God.
safety."
We got 2 safeties.
safeties.
That's how we got to 7. We got a field goal and 2 safeties.
So I just thought they scored a touchdown, so Iowa didn't even score a touchdown.
No, they got a field goal and 2 safeties.
That's crazy. Oh, that's.
And now they got to take on Iowa State this week, and I don't know. I'm just like.
And now I've got to throw this out there because Scott and I already discussed it. But he's a senior, a transfer from Iowa, Charlie Jones. In his first game at Purdue, he got 12 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, so, Iowa had 45 yards of offense at the half.
Oh, my goodness. South Dakota. I'd be firing people, man.
45 yards.
There's no way.
They were in the fourth quarter, and they only had 150 yards of offense.
Well, I mean, Iowa had great field position most of the game because South Dakota State, the Predators did a great job for Iowa, kept pinning them like the 5 to South Dakota State.
No touchdowns against South Dakota State. That is disturbing.
Iowa made South Dakota State's defense look like the best defense in the country.
Oh.
The Jackrabbits are tough. Come on, Scott.
I know. They're like the second-ranked or third-ranked team in all of FCS. I get it. They're good. But there is no way that Iowa should have just 45 yards of offense at the half.
That's awful.
Drew, my question for you, and I know it's early to panic, and you know me, I don't panic, but do you think Alabama will hit the transfer portal for a quarterback?
No, I don't think so. I think I want to see how Ty develops. So certainly we're seeing Milroe get some extensive playing time.
You would know by January, because that's when you're going to get a transfer usually, December, January. But I'm just saying if he doesn't, develop, because I don't see Milroe being able to, start if you want to win 10 or 11, 12 games next year.
Yeah, I mean, I worry about Milroe's consistency as a passer. He's certainly a great athlete, and he had some bright moments in the game on Saturday, but he had a bad interception. Certainly, he underthrew that deep ball, Isaiah Bind, to look like he was behind the defense, had a chance to hit that throw. He did not do it, and then he threw a hospital ball to Kendrick Law and got Kendrick jacked up short of a first down. But, again, I think he's made some improvement. But the thing is the consistency level. And I do think when you're defending him, certainly his legs are a factor and he can make plays. But they're also going to try to take away those RPOs and put everything in a bubble and make him – just challenge him to throw deep. I mean, you're almost going to play man just to see if he can – throw the ball, put the ball where he needs to for the wide receivers. And so Ty played sparingly, and I think they'll play him a little bit more, but I don't know how much. He's still learning the offense. But remember, Richard, they're also taking 2 quarterbacks in this class right now, Eli Holstein and Dylan Lonergan. So I think only if they felt like it was a really bleak situation where they didn't think one of the younger 4 was going to be ready to play would they go into the portal. But I think they like the 2 younger guys that are on the team now, especially Ty Simpson. And, a lot can change between now and the end of next spring. And so I think I think they understand, though, that one of the 2, whether it be Milroe or Ty, whoever loses the job is going to transfer, and that's why they've got 2 quarterbacks coming in this class. Now, could they take another veteran? Potentially, I guess. But it's hard in this climate of the transfer portal and and the NIL era too. They're going to try to sign 2 QBs. Hopefully, they're going to get that done. But also, it's tough to keep 4 on scholarship because they all want to play. And so usually you're good to have 3. So I think that's why Alabama's taking the 2 high school kids. Holstein's off to a good start. Lonergan's been off to a solid start, but he's also a baseball player. So now if they thought Lonergan might get drafted high and sign in the Major League draft, then that changes some things, and they definitely could look into the portal. So there's going to be some different kind of storylines to follow going forward.
Yeah, I was just wanting to get your take on that. So
yeah, it could happen, but there has to be some different scenarios. But certainly, it's definitely a plausible situation that they could look into that.
Like you said, it's early, but I was just right now you don't see either one because you've been stacked at quarterback for years, with top talent.
Oh, you can, and I'll just say this. and he had been in the program longer. He'd been in the program 3 years, but when you saw Mac Jones early on in his career, it was shaky. But he continued to work and continued to get better. So a lot of what's going to happen will be development and practice. And and I know they've spent a lot of time with Milroe because Saban loves his athleticism, and he is just a freakazoid athlete. He's actually a better athlete than Jalen Hurts because he's faster. Now, Jalen was tough and could run and had good mobility, but Milroe is like a true 4-4 kind of guy. I mean, for example, on that 63-yard run for Bryce Young where he broke it down the sideline and then had to cut it back, Bryce is probably a 4-6 kind of 40 guy or 4-7. Milroe would have scored. I think he would have left everybody in the dust and even outran some people with an angle because he's just that kind of athlete. So that's the kind of play on a zone read or even on a scramble where Milroe can really hurt a defense. So we'll see. But
one thing on Milroe or even Hurt, the defenses, who are better teams figured Hurts out.
Yeah, they did, and that's probably the same thing. And that was my point about them defending Milroe after they see some more film of him, trying to take away the short stuff and challenge you to go deep. And they did the same thing with Jalen Hurts, and most of the time he was hitting the bull or rolling right and throwing it out of bounds. Now, he did improve some. There's no question about that.
Oh, yeah.
But he also had 4 first-round draft picks at wide receiver. I think they've got really good receivers right now, but I don't know that they have anyone at that level. So that would be another issue to have to try to tackle. But, again, I think the offense would be much more ground-oriented with Milroe and zone read-oriented just because of his skill set and athletic ability. You probably wouldn't have as much of a vertical threat passing the football.
No. So, like I said, I was just, it's early because you got 11, 12, 13 more games, to get these guys experience out there. But, we've just been spoiled lately, from Tua to Mac Jones to Bryce. Us fans are, it's been, unbelievable the last handful of years.
Oh, it has been. You're totally correct there.
Yeah, I'm heading out to Austin, so I'll try to pull us through out on Saturday. So.
Oh yeah, you are you going with a is it just yourself or is it going to be a traveling party?
My son and my sister are going. So
nice.
Flying out Friday and meeting a lot. I know a lot of folks. Actually, one of my neighbors here in Madison, going to. I know a handful of folks heading out. So
safe travels, my friend.
Take the sunscreen with you.
Yeah, it does look like it's only going to be in the 80s, though. Interesting. We were checking that. It might be 90 by the end of the game. It's not going to be maybe as bad as people thought, potentially.
Yeah. Still 11 a.m. kick, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can get 7 points like Iowa the hard way.
Hard way. You got to work at it. You really got to work hard to get that much.
That's crazy. 2 safeties.
2 safeties. Look, the punter was the best player on the field for Iowa the whole entire day. He literally was. If it was not for great punting, Iowa could have lost that game because, South Dakota State, they were pinned back on the 5, the 2 the whole time. They couldn't do anything offensively, but Iowa was just awful. It was bad.
Were the fans booing them?
They were booing them bad. They were booing it so bad. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it was bad.
I guess I should have paid more attention to that.
Oh, I would not have. I wouldn't
have.
No,
what I mean is, I should have watched the post-game press conference just to hear what Ferentz said.
He's so defiant. He's like, Spencer Petras will be our quarterback. He says that he does well in practice, so he hasn't done anything to not lose the job.
Oh, wow.
Except score a touchdown. All right, Richard, thanks for the call.
See you guys later.
See you, Richard.
We got to get a break in because when we come back, his teams have not had problems scoring touchdowns. In fact, they've done so much so that they are 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bryant Bank Team of the Week. Jerry Adcock and the Red Raiders next.
Jerry.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
They had a delayed request for an ambulance at a wreck in Decatur at 5th and Betty. Now they've canceled that ambulance, so that wreck should be clearing pretty quick. Everything else looks good this morning, just lots of fog reports. You be careful, especially if you got a long way to go. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com. Each week, they lace it up. Each week, we'll present our Team of the Week.
Get it in here! I got one thing to say!
So it's time for the Bryant Bank Team of the Week presentation.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. And welcome back to Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. And last week, this team captured a big 26-14 win against rivals Athens. Followed that up, though, by winning 28-14 the week before that against Austin. And then, Drew, all they did to open up the year was get a 65-0 shutout win. So I'm going to say a 3-0 start for the first time since 2010, probably pretty good.
No, it's definitely worthy of an honor of the Team of the Week from our great friends at Bryant Bank, who will be donating $500 to this football program over at Decatur High School. And their head football coach, who's a great friend of ours. We always are honored to visit with him in person and, of course, have him on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He's in his 27th season. He's won 181 games for the Red Raiders. He's become an institution there, been an assistant coach there starting in '94 before he replaced the Hall of Famer Steve Rivers, and he's continued the great tradition of Decatur football. And really, we've seen for their third straight week coming up, they're going to be traveling to Coleman. They're going to be playing another traditional rival. They've already beaten Athens, which is probably their most, the longest running series for them. They win that game 26-14 this past week. And as you said, Scott, a huge first win ever on Austin's new campus. They win that game 28-14 in that huge rivalry to beat the Black Bears. And they're now 3-0 and 1-0 in 6A Region 7. And Jerry Adcock is now with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, congratulations
Coach.
on the great start for your football team.
Thank you, guys. It's great to represent the Red Raider Nation today, and I really appreciate that. The Red Raider family is excited right now about Red Raider football.
Yeah, and they should be. A 3-0 start, Coach, and 2 wins in a row, back-to-back wins over really rivals. I mean, you have your inner-city rival with Austin, you get a win, and then you have the team that you've faced the most over the history, Athens. 2 important wins for the community.
It is, and I'm just really excited about our players and what they're accomplishing, and we got a great task ahead of us this week and in the weeks to come. But to this point, we've done the things that we've tried to do. Our coaching staff has done a tremendous job preparing them, and they bought in. And we knew this group was going to be that kind of team. They've got a lot of playing time under their belt. They took a lot of lumps as sophomores and juniors, and so it's exciting. We got a really tough region, as you guys mentioned, and putting two kind of rival teams there back to back, and then got to go to Coleman this week. The task doesn't get any easier.
It doesn't, Coach, but I know I talked to David Elwell a couple years ago, a good friend of mine from the Decatur Day, and I've talked to you as well. This sophomore class at that time that's now seniors, I know you were very excited about their potential, and so far so good. And then they really kind of showcased that. It was a kind of a good measuring stick, because I know you weren't pleased with the week of practice last week before you guys took on Athens, but during the game, you guys got some key players banged up, but you had seniors and guys that aren't necessarily starters and or huge parts of the offense step up and play very well against Athens. And I think that shows the internally the kind of leadership this senior class has that you sort of just referenced.
I think you're right. These guys, they've matured so well, and we spent a lot of time with our leadership council, spent a lot of time with our seniors talking about, where we were in so many games last year and just came up on the short end and why. And we looked at it as a coaching staff as to, what are we not getting done? And we talked to the players about what is the problem here? That, basically, it was a lot of mindset issues with kids where they had never won. They'd never really been successful. And so, we've tried to address that. They're playing with a different confidence level. And they're a very close group. They're a very close group. I mean, they're at Bible studies together. They go out to eat together. They hang out together. You see them in the hallways, in the cafeteria. And, that's what makes coaching football fun, is to see the relationships that these young men are building with each other.
And as you mentioned, the road doesn't get any easier this week, and it's actually back on the road. And I know you've traveled over here to Huntsville, and you played it at Lewis Cruz Stadium, but it is so ginormous, Coach, that sometimes you get lost in the fact that it's a home field advantage for whoever's playing there. You're traveling to Coleman this week, where really it's going to be your first true I know you went to Austin, but this is a big a road trip.
Yeah, it is, and you're exactly right. And Coleman had a tough week last week against Hartsville, who's playing outstanding football right now. And, I know that they're going to flip the switch, and they're going to give us the best thing that they have. And going down there is tough. came out short last year. 2 years ago, we were down there and we were ahead at halftime and just lost it the second half. So we've had one win down there over the last few years, and that's a tough place to play. They always play well at home, and it's going to be a real test for us.
It certainly is, Coach, no doubt about it. But I wanted to kind of to reflect back over the first 3 weeks, though. Last year, you guys at Ogle Stadium nearly pulled off the win against Austin and lost a close one, 17-13. What did it mean to these seniors and these players to this time? It kind of references what you said, where you guys were so close, and you, as a staff, went back and researched and kind of tried to self-scout. Okay, what do we need to do to finish? How big was it to finish and to win impressively in a true road environment and for the first time ever at Austin?
You know, there was a certainty about these young men. When they all week long, there was a confidence level and there was a focus. You know, tell kids all the time in high school football, you probably get about 2 games a year where everybody is on the same page and everyone is laser focused on what we're doing, how we're practicing, where our focus, where our intensity is. And that week was that week. It was everybody, scout team, everyone we had. Everybody had one thing on their mind, and there was a level of confidence within this field house and on this football team that these guys just weren't going to be denied. And you know, it was kind of interesting from what we've been through the last few years. It's been some struggle, and you could feel it with the student body when we walked in school that day. And I don't know if the players are, you know, they're sending out the vibes, and their classmates are picking it up, but there's a different feeling in this high school right now. It's like it used to be.
Nice.
And man, that's refreshing. That's refreshing.
Well, Coach, I mean, a lot of that is the perseverance of the kids. I mean, you look at it last year. I mean, you get tripped up by 4 to Austin. You come back and you win this one. I mean, you lost so many close ones last year where you were in the ball game. And I mean, if you guys are preaching them and telling them that, you know, if you keep working hard, it's going to happen. And then it does happen. All of a sudden, these 15, 16, 17-year-old minds start playing with confidence, and that is a completely different ball game.
It is. You know, I'm always reminded of a quote that I've read Joe Montana talking about how confidence is such a fickle thing. You know, it's even if you're a Hall of Famer talk like that. But, you know, it's very important for kids to realize that we have what we need. We're equipped like we need to be equipped. Now let's just go do what we're supposed to do. And, you know, unfortunately, sometimes people look for the easy way, you know, and we talk to them about being competitors or false competitors. A false competitor is one who wants the easy win. True competitors is one that's really get out there and in the arena and fighting for it. And so, you know, we're just continually talking to our kids about those things, and I think the maturity level of the senior class and what they've been through, they're buying in and they're showing their teammates, guys, this is what we have to do. This is the way it has to be done.
And we talked about stepping up, and you know, running back Ryan Kirk went out after having a really productive start to the game, 5 carries for 25 yards. But then Josh Turner came in, finished the drive off, scored twice. But then you had a junior, as we said, step up, Dayton Swoops. He ends up with a 100-yard game and 25 carries for you, Coach. So that's guys that are, you know, ready to go. And we kind of lamented the fact Alabama had some guys get hurt last year and some younger players weren't mentally ready. But it sounds like you had a couple of guys locked in and ready to take advantage of opportunities.
And we did, and we expected that. The week before against Austin, Ryan had such an outstanding game, and he's one of the most unselfish guys on this team. He's just willing to do anything. And Dayton didn't get to play as much. And the week before, Dayton had more carries than Ryan did in the win against May Jemison. But you know, and I told Dayton, I said, "Look, bud, I know Ryan was on the road, Coach. I understand." I said, "He's a senior. He was on the roll, and he was playing outstanding. And we're going to let him enjoy this and do well as he could." I said, "Your night's coming." Little did I know it was going to be prophetic in my statement there. But you know, that's the way we practice. That's the way he practices, and And I will say this, once again, when you have seniors in a group that are showing these young guys how it has to be done, then you have those young guys willing to step up.
And then talk about your quarterback, Ellis Dickman. He played quite a bit last year, Coach. We were able to do that ball game in that just driving rainstorm to end the regular season against Huntsville. It was a tough environment over at Ogle that night, but Ellis has played quite a bit, and I know he's played well for you early. And it's always good to have someone under center that's got some experience and kind of grown and taken those lumps and learned.
Yeah, you're right. He played a lot as a sophomore because we had the injury situation with our quarterback then, and then last year he was the guy. He had a couple of injuries that we had to dance around, but he has done an outstanding job. He's a student of the game. When we walk in there on Monday, if the scout team lines up wrong, he corrects them. I mean, and our quarterback coach tells him, hey, you should know exactly how they're going to line up when you walk in here Monday. And Ellis, he'll get them corrected. He'll say, hey, no, you're supposed to be in a one-high look. Hey, when we get this, no, you're supposed to be in a two-high look. Hey, you're supposed to be apex and number 2 right there. And he'll tell those guys if they're not lined up right. This is not the look they're giving us. This is what you're supposed to be doing. So he mentally prepares. And, here's the thing. The guy loves to play.
Mm-hmm.
He's a basketball player. He's a football player. He's a baseball player. He's a golfer. He just loves playing. He's a competitor, and he enjoys it. He enjoys what high school sports are supposed to be about.
He certainly does.
Well, Coach, you look at this game last year, Decatur Raider head coach Jerry Adcock joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. This game last year was a turnover game. Coleman took advantage of 3 turnovers on your behalf last year to kind of nip this one. Looking at that Coleman film this year, what's the challenge?
It's the same thing. They run an offense. I mean, they've taken the flex bone and they backed it up into a short shotgun look with about a 3.5-yard snap to the quarterback. And the quarterback is an outstanding player. He throws it really well. Runs. I mean, the guy, he's a great track athlete. He busted 1 for 37 against us last year. So their offense poses a lot of problems because it's not what we see week in and week out. So preparing, you got to be extremely disciplined. You got to have a lot of eye discipline as to where your reads are and such. So that's a real handful there doing that. But then again, the turnover issue last year. We scored on 1 turnover that they had, but the turnover issue hurt us. We were in the red zone and lost 1, and that's the thing that I'm not saying that we've harped on it. We always do, but to this point, we've been really fortunate. We have decreased the amount of turnovers. We're trying to stack good reps on everything, and everything's about ball security, where we're throwing it, catching it, or running with it. So it's constantly enforced, and we're trying to look at positive plays. Like we always tell them, guys, if every series ends with a kick, we're good. We can play like that, and that's what it should do.
Well, Coach, there's been a lot of games being moved up to Thursday with the weather situation. I know you guys are watching it closely. Certainly the weather's something you can't control, but talk about the potential for inclement weather on Friday.
Yeah, Coach Glasscock and I talked yesterday, and there's a real strong possibility this game will get moved. We're going to hopefully we'll find out. Today by noon, maybe we will have a decision made. It's not one of those things you can wait till the last minute. You got buses, you got pregame meals, you got a lot of buttons to push to get everyone ready to be where they got to be. And, in the mental aspect with the players, and we talked to our players about it. Now, we're not changing our practice routine today. We're not changing that at all. We're going to follow through because we feel like, Wednesday is a great prep day for us anyhow. So that won't change. But we should know around noon as to what we're going to do.
All right, well, hopefully. I mean, you're going to get it played either Thursday or Friday. I mean, I'm sure the kids are ready to go either way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and that's just, like you said, when we were discussing it, he asked me, he said, what do you think? I said, well, we live in Alabama, and it's still summertime. The weather can change 40 times. I think the people that have the hardest jobs right now are all the meteorologists over in Huntsville and on the TV stations, because they'll tell you one thing and then they have to change it, because it's just, man, I feel sorry for them. It's a constant change with this weather situation, and you just live with it. Just like yesterday, we got lightning within 10 miles. We're inside. We were on the field 8 minutes. Boom, lightning within 10. It jumped from 14 miles to 6. We're inside. And within an hour and a half span, there were 5 minutes that lightning was not within 10 miles of us. It never rained.
Oh, wow.
We follow the recommendations of the state and our school system and our trainer, and we're going to do what he asks us to do. And, there's a lot of liability issues there. So we're inside doing practice inside, and we're not going to play this game inside, but that's the way it works. So that's what you do. And then by the time practice is over and we start in, the bottom falls out. So, it was just one of those deals. You have to be prepared, have a plan to go with it.
You do, Coach. But speaking of that, how big an honor is it for you guys getting $500 from our good sponsor, Bryant Bank, for your program?
Man, we appreciate that so much. Like I said, it's exciting for us. It really is, and I appreciate you guys doing this, because it's such an honor. And I talked to our players about, guys, these are things that they've gone 2 or 3 years and haven't got to experience that. I mean, you guys honored us last year, but I said these are things that happen for you when you're playing the game like you're supposed to, representing the school like you're supposed to, and it's exciting because, like you said, I kind of you mentioned the word institution. I didn't know if you'd say he needs to be institutionalized.
No, sir.
But I mean, been here a long time, and I've seen a lot of good and a little bit of bad. And unfortunately, the little bit of bad's been here in the last few years, and nothing's changed about who we are and what we are. And we're fighting through this, and I think what we're seeing right now is results of the culture that's always been here. It's been handed down by all these guys as part of this family, and have been part of this family for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, I'm not trying to date everything or make you feel old, but two coaches have been on the sideline since 1981.
That's
Steve
amazing.
Rivers and you.
That's tradition right there, man.
And he and I get to visit quite often. And trust me, a 20-minute conversation turns into 2 hours, and we spend most of our time laughing and telling stories. And it's the richest time I get. If it's not playing with one of my grandkids, visiting with him is the brightest part. I mean, it's great visiting with him. Trust him and care for him so much. It means a lot to me.
Well, we can't wait for you to schedule St. Michael's and go over there to the beach and play against Phillip.
Hey, if we do, I want to go down for about 2 weeks because there's so many good places to eat down there. and I got a lot of really good friends down there. And I don't know how much football I've been getting coached a little bit. We might have to do 2 a day so I can get a little breakfast, a little lunch, a little dinner, and mix in a little football in between.
There you go.
Coach. Well, congratulations.
And
Coach. Best of luck Thursday or Friday.
It's always great to talk with you.
Thanks.
All right, that's Decatur head coach Jerry Adcock. We got to get a break in. We could have gone all night with that one. All right.
Great interview with Jerry Adcock.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They had a delayed request for an ambulance at a wreck in Decatur at 5th and Betty. Now they've canceled that ambulance, so that wreck should be clearing pretty quick. Everything else looks good this morning, just lots of fog reports. You be careful, especially if you got a long way to go. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
It's been said that there are 3 things in life that are certain: death, taxes, and car commercials. But actually, there's a 4th certainty, the Woody Anderson Ford Rate Lock, that allows you to lock in a finance rate when you factory order a 2023 F-150, Explorer, or Bronco Sport. No more rolling the dice on a future finance rate. Lock it in as low as 2.9% APR for up to 60 months at Woody Anderson Ford today. And while we're featuring 23 F-150, Explorer, and Bronco Sport, this rate lock offer also includes 2023 models of Ranger, Edge, Maverick Gas, and Transit Connect. With approved credit, offer ends 9/5. It's the Summer Supercharged Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. And with your trade being worth as much as 30% more than last year, it's a great time to make your move. Oh, and check our Ford Gold certified vehicles too. Low mileage, great warranty, and a full tank of gas and fresh oil change. Swing by today. The Summer Supercharged Sales Event, Woody Anderson Ford.
These days, my budget could really use a boost, which is why I love shopping at Kohl's. With the epic deals going on right now, I got myself some cute tees for under $7 each. Oh, and all my fall home decor, 40% off. Not to mention, everyone in my family got boots for under $40 each. Plus, I earn Kohl's cash. Yep, just a few hacks to work around inflation. Select styles. Offers end September 11th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The Huntsville Sports Commission, a not-for-profit organization, is driven by the love of sports. And we're excited to announce several events already planned for this fall, including the Gulf South Conference Soccer Championship, the AVCA Fall Collegiate Beach Championships, the NCAA Division I Regional Cross Country Championship, and the Running Lane Cross Country Championships. For the love of sports, the Huntsville Sports Commission. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
Hi, this is Chris Stewart. The quest for a 19th championship starts this fall. Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, at the top 25 matchup this weekend inside the Swamp, the Florida Gators taking on the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky, though, getting some bad news, and that is Ramon Jefferson tore his ACL against Miami. He is expected to be out now for the entire year. He's going to rehab, try to get back for a faster recovery, but it doesn't look like he will be there this year. He's going to ask the NCAA for another year. That's a pretty big blow to a Kentucky backfield who now is without Chris Rodriguez Jr., who's still unavailable.
Suspended, yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to head to the Swamp shorthanded.
Well, they are, but they've they added some guys in the portal in the backfield. So Kentucky, and they still have my guy Berrien Brown, who didn't take him long to make an impact. He ran a kickoff back 100 yards for a touchdown. So this game's going to be interesting. Most people in the preseason were picking the Kentucky Wildcats to win this game, finish second in the East. It didn't take long once Florida upset Utah for everybody to be and for Anthony Richardson to play well to start picking the Gators. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I think it's a very, very strong possibility that the winner of this game finishes second. And I know. There's people still saying Tennessee's going to, but I want to see more of Tennessee before I make up my mind that, okay, they may very well be behind Georgia and the second best team in the East.
All right, let's get out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jeff from the Borough with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Well, nobody's gonna catch Barry Brown after he got 40-yard line.
No, yeah, I mean that dude can fly.
He didn't lose a sprint in high school, 100 or 200 meters, so no high school career. So, and he's gonna run track in the spring. So I'm sure he'll win some more when he gets out there. But no, nobody's gonna pick us beat Florida. Who you trying to fool? I mean, and the line was 3.5, 4.5. So and I don't know who's picking us beat Florida. Like I said, I think they're better than them right now, but they've got to prove it on the field. So they're better than them and Tennessee, but they've got to beat them first to do it. So,
well, I'm going to stick with them. I mean, I picked them in the preseason. I'm not going to pick against them just because, again, I picked Florida to beat Utah. I'm not surprised by that. Now I'm basically trying to say I think Kentucky's better than Utah. So I know Kentucky. It wasn't an ultra impressive first game performance, but again I don't overreact to first games except when I guess maybe against for LSU because LSU looks so bad and poorly coached and I think the culture needs to be totally revamped over there. But Kentucky should be very comfortable in their own skin heading to Florida.
Well, yeah, they will be. I mean, they're 2-2 the last 4, so
right.
They know they can go over there and win. It's not something they haven't done before. They've done it, and they know they can do it. So it's gonna be us against the world. And I mean, nobody thinks we can win. Like Guy said last year, but we ain't had the talent to climb on the field with Florida. You ain't got the talent. Don't even play the ball game. Don't even play Florida. You ain't got the talent. We beat them anyway, so don't make no difference. We beat them anyway. If we beat them Saturday night, it'll be another excuse. Well, Florida didn't play well, or Florida didn't do this and that, or Napier's not a good coach. Or it'd be some excuse. It'd be some excuse out there. So I mean, he's going. I mean, Coach Stoops is going for if he wins Saturday night, he'd be the all-time winningest coach in Kentucky history. Tied Barry Bryant Saturday, and then the next week they play Youngstown State at home, which he's from Youngstown. So that'd be kind of a homecoming, I guess, for him, I guess, to a certain extent. But, nobody's going to give us a shot. Nobody.
Nope.
We got to prove it to ourselves. How about Iowa's offense?
Yep.
All these countries safety comments on that?
Oh, yeah, I've already made comments. We're awful. We're awful. You know what, though? As bad as we are, I still watch the whole thing. Anyway, I mean, look, I'll get into Kentucky and Florida. We'll share thoughts here kicking off hour number 2 because I got to ask you something on that game. Plus, we got a lot of other stuff to get to. 256-576-4977. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Riveting.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Had one wreck working in Decatur at 5th and Betty. They updated that one to an injury type, and then they canceled the ambulance on it. That's been our only accident. Should be out of the way pretty quick. Everything else looks good at this point. You're definitely in bumper-to-bumper traffic, though. Be careful. Are you over 35 and overweight? 7 different hormones can make it impossible for you to lose weight. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We're going to maintain an opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially once we get beyond the lunch hour and then through the early and middle part of the evening. Temperatures dropping into the mid 60s as we head into the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thursday is opening night in the NFL with the Bills taking on the Rams in L.A. Buffalo, the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year, a 2.5-point road favorite. On Sunday, the Saints take on the Falcons in Atlanta, Week 1. New Orleans, a 5.5-point favorite on the road. College football Saturday, number 1 Alabama in Austin to take on Texas. The Crimson Tide favored by 20 on the road. Auburn, meanwhile, at home against San Jose State. The Tigers minus 22.5. Baseball, the Braves minus 263 on the money line at the A's at plus 220 this afternoon. The over-under at 7. Spencer Strider on the bump for Atlanta. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And welcome back, Hour 2 of Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome back to the show in hour number 2. We had a fun first hour, 256-576-4977. And we were ending that first hour talking about Kentucky, Florida, looking ahead. That's a top 25 matchup now. It is. In the swamp, Kentucky's sitting there inside the top 25. So is Florida. But, you know, we had SEC Media Days, and it was like, who's going to be the second team? Who's going to be the best second team in the East behind Georgia? Could Florida take that next step? Is it going to be Kentucky, maybe Tennessee? Who's going to be number 2 there? And in the past, when we looked at Kentucky going to Gainesville, it was, does Kentucky have enough to pull off the upset? Is this going to be that one game where Kentucky plays well? Is this the year? Kentucky wants to work themselves into the conversation as being an upper echelon team,
contender
in the East. Is it time where we say, this is a game Kentucky needs to win versus is this a game where Kentucky can win?
They need to win this game, and they can. I think in both. They need to because, Jeff gets mad at me, and he acts like I'm disrespecting Kentucky, but I actually really admire their program and what Mark Stoops has done. But he gets irritated when I try to tell him that I don't think Kentucky will ever win the SEC championship in football. Well, if they're ever going to give themselves a chance, they have to win this game. And they have to. A few years ago, they did, and they played Georgia late in the season at Kentucky for a shot to go to Atlanta, and they got smashed. Well, you're wanting to continue to knock on the door, beat on the door, whatever you want to say, until you kick it down. And the only way to get another opportunity is to win this game, because if you drop your first SEC game, you're already behind the 8 ball. Okay, now you can still have a good year, go to bowl games, win bowl games, but are you going to make the jump to a true contender status? And to do that, they need to win this game on Saturday inside the swamp.
Right.
It would validate what we said in the offseason, and it would put them squarely in the conversation of being one of the top 2 teams in the East. The only other one people would be measuring them against would be Tennessee. Okay, so they need to win this game against Florida. But I will say, if Napier, who has already upset Utah, if they upset Kentucky, and it would be an upset. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I understand it's in the swamp. I understand, the history of the series that Florida's dominated. But you heard Jeff. Florida and Kentucky have split the last 4 games. So I don't think anybody would be shocked if Kentucky wins this game. And this is a great test for Will Levis. He had 300 yards against Miami of Ohio. Now he needs to do it against a quality opponent like Florida. You already talked about Ramon Jefferson going down,
right.
But that means our guy Cavassier Smoke from Wetumpka, Alabama, with Rodriguez's suspension situation, likely going to have to carry that load for Kentucky.
If Kentucky loses this game, is it the same?
It's just it's back to basketball practice starts when,
yeah.
and that they're going to end up with a solid year, be like an 8-4 football team, and go to a bowl. But they're not a contender. They're not a true contender because people will write them off. I truly believe this. And they're going to start saying, well, they're not going to beat Tennessee again. Tennessee's the boogeyman, and that would knock them down another peg. If you lose to Tennessee and Florida, that means at best you're the 4th best team in the SEC East. And you've still got to play South Carolina, who we really don't know how good they are. So
right.
This would validate a lot of what Mark Stoops has done, and you heard Jeff say it. This would be historic as well. It would be 3 wins in 5 tries against the Gators, and it would make Mark Stoops the winningest coach in Kentucky football history.
Tie him with Bear, right?
No, Jeff said he tied it last game, and this would break it.
All right. So a lot at stake, really. A lot more at stake for Kentucky than Florida. Florida looked impressive. We'll see what
Florida's
they do,
a 5-point favorite, too, after that upset
happens,
in the first week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, though, because Florida had, how many months to lock in on Utah?
Yeah.
So many months to change the narrative around what Dan Mullen
Is Will Levis a first-round pick? That's what we heard all offseason. He was going to make that jump, and he was a guy the NFL scouts were looking at. Big, strong kid with a strong arm. Can Kentucky finally have the kind of passing game to beat a quality opponent on the road? If Will Levis is truly a first-round pick, Scott, and is going to be a guy and be the best quarterback of the Mark Stoops era at Kentucky, he's going to have a big game in this one. He did throw 1 pick against Miami of Ohio, but he's going to have to go on the road and play at a very high level. And these receivers for UK, Barry and Brown among them, the true freshmen, they're going to have to step up and make plays against this Gator secondary.
All right, the one thing that Drew and I will never do is this.
And now we're excited about the weekend. So with that, we'll open it up to this late arriving media crowd that must have enjoyed the weekend. That's usually $10 that we put in the kitty. We'll have a big bash at the end of the year at my place. I don't think it has anything to do with winning. I think it has to do with being on time.
Brian Kelly, LSU's Brian Kelly yesterday, singling out a late arriving reporter, the reporter coming back by saying, well, maybe if you win, I'll be on time.
Or maybe if you, get there on time, you might have a job. But, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily great for a reporter to be coming in late, especially if this is not – and I can understand if it's post-game and you're trying to hurry to the interview room. But This is one of those already prearranged meetings with the media. So, again, a little bit of back and forth. And, of course, some people are giving –
He apologized to her for, coming across
like that. It was
that.
good-natured.
People are really
they are. Once again, they're taking shots at Kelly. He's just not a big-time coach. Shut up! Just give him a chance to coach some games. You morons always want to come up with these hot takes and just write a guy off after one game. He sucks. He can't coach here. Shut up. You don't know. Let it play out. He took over a bunch of morons coached by a meathead who doesn't know how to build a program, who failed twice, and will never, ever be a head coach again unless he's playing a video game. And he probably doesn't do that. He's too busy flexing in the gym.
Well, speaking of said meathead.
Yeah, moron. It was the Little Rock Touchdown Club or something.
Smokey, you're going to have to get the little beeper out on this one because there's a word in here that I've not been able to get beeped out, but you will hear it in here. Ed Orgeron did join the Little Rock Touchdown Club and was asked about his exit from LSU.
I'm so grateful of my time for LSU. That was my opportunity. You know, coaches got a shelf. Some coaches got 50 years. Some coaches got 12. Mine was 6. Good. I got to tell you, we had a meeting. Say, Coach, things are not going well. No shit. Ray Charles can see that, brother. And they were good. And Scott Woodward is a friend of mine today. Really, really, a lot of respect for the way they handled me.
So what's next?
Well, I got to tell you this, though. Say, Coach, you got $17.1 million on your contract. We're going to give it to you. I said, what time you want me to leave and what door you want me out of, brother?
Ed Orgeron there. $17 million to leave. What door do you want me out and what time do you want me gone?
That gives you just such confidence in the way Ed Orgeron can run a program, right? I mean,
that is what Brian Kelly was left with.
Yeah, a moron worried more about how much his buyout is than whether or not, John Emery had gone to the right classes so he could be eligible. I mean, the guy has no clue how to run a program. Zero. Yes, he did listen and change the offense, and he got lucky. Let's just call it what it is. He hired Joe Brady, yes. And he had Steve Ensminger, and they had great chemistry. Everything lined up perfectly. It would never happen again. And he had Dave Aranda, who, by the way, he did not hire, okay? He got Dave Aranda to stay. He had outstanding assistant coaches to, cover for his buffoonery. And then once, they started having the success, you remember how he acted on the field and in the locker room after they beat Alabama, like a complete Neanderthal. And just in the next 2 years were awful. And yet they still had talent because they got 10 guys drafted last year on a 6-7 team. So if Orgeron decides he wants to continue to coach, he'll never be a coordinator. He'll never be a head coach again. He just talked about him having his opportunity. He will be, a defensive line coach should he choose to do so. And he is a great recruiter. And really probably a pretty good evaluator of talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But running a program, oh, Lord, no. There's no way. The only thing he can manage is a gym or maybe the defensive line room. That's pretty much all that Coach O can do. I mean, it really was some of the same stuff if you've ever read Meat Market and what happened at Ole Miss. He had really good talent at Ole Miss. He's never had a problem getting good players. It's about hiring a staff and organizing it and winning. He got lucky at LSU.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And quite frankly, if you go back in time and look at it, Dave Aranda should have been the head coach. Okay? And he might not have gone to Baylor. But he finally left to go to Baylor. And when he left, the bottom really fell out. Now, you lost Joe Brady after a year, but you still had Ensminger. But him losing Dave Aranda, he never recovered.
Right. Now this is the mess that Brian Kelly is walking into. This was the mess you saw on Sunday night kind of come to light. Remember, Josh Pate told us that this was going to be a mess.
Yeah.
And that this was going to happen. He told us that leading into SEC Media Days. Don't be alarmed if not everyone is on the same page with Brian Kelly. because you've got players on there. Alabama went through it with Nick Saban's first year.
Well, Brian Kelly went through it at Notre Dame
right.
in his first year there. The first year and really the first two, because sometimes you can have we don't know how the rest of the season is going to go, but I'll just bring an example of South Carolina. They overachieved last year, but can they continue to do it this year? How is the season going to go? I'll never forget Mark Gottfried when he came to Alabama in the late 90s basketball-wise. They overachieved in his first year and went to the NIT. Then he had a bunch of freshmen the next year, really good recruiting class, but they had a losing record, okay? And they just did not have a good year because they were so young. So the first 2 years are really tough because you're having to reset your culture. What Nick Saban did at Alabama is kind of an anomaly, being able to get them nearly to the national championship game in year 2. So then it changed everything. Well, yeah, you ought to be able to turn it around by year 2. Not necessarily. Sometimes it takes the Mark Stoops approach.
Does that make Billy Napier's win against Utah more special?
Well, it's to a degree, but I still think, you look at what Freddie Maggard told us about how Mark Stoops, when he took that program over at Kentucky from Joker Phillips, he said it was MAC-level talent, like Miami, Ohio, Bowling Green, Ball State type talent. But they were very patient with him. They certainly didn't overreact when it took them a while to get there, to get everything turned around. He has stayed there, and now we're talking about them. Really, honestly, I know they're an underdog via the spread, but really having an opportunity to win at the Swamp, which 10 years ago, you're what? You're thinking is it's going to be a blowout, and so we'll see how the game goes on Saturday. But Kentucky football has come a long way, and so that patient approach with Stoops worked. The problem is though, with all the money now, the SEC network, the transfer portal. NIL, people aren't patient. They want you to win. They want you to win now. And so you saw what happened, with Chad Morris at Arkansas. He was gone in 2 years. What are they talking about with Harsin? If he doesn't win 8,
right, he's gone.
They're going to be gone, and you're going after someone else. So that they are not giving you as much time to build a program now.
Used to be you got 4 to 5 years.
And Nick Saban's part of that because, again, Nick Saban did it so quickly, people were thinking, we got to find the next guy that can do that. And then guys like Gene Chizik and Ed Ogeron won national championships, and I don't think either one of them is very good head coaches. But it just goes to show you if you hire the right coaches, if you find a Cam Newton, a transcendent talent, and everything pulls together for you, you can win big. And Auburn did it, and so did LSU. But it can also be fool's gold because by 2 years later, both programs had the coaching changes.
Look at what Texas A&M did. They gave Jimbo Fisher a boatload of money, and they want him to win in 2 years. The expectation was Jimbo Fisher would win a national title in 2 years or a year or less at Texas A&M. And we're getting into year 3, 4? For Jimbo, and are they any closer to winning a title now than what they were when he arrived?
This is year 5 for Dirt Neck.
Yeah. Are they any closer?
No. They look like garbage the other night. But like I said, they claimed it was a weather delay and that they had to wait to finish the game. It was probably just the Renaissance Bank or whoever the hell their sponsor is from their collective. They probably had to get the checks delivered at halftime so the bunch of deadbeats would actually play and finish the game. That's probably what happened. Jimbo motor mouth. He would never admit it. He'd just talk 1,000 words a minute and talk around it. But I'm sure Evan Stewart, great player, probably needed his money at halftime, so he'd go back out there and then play a few snaps. Considering I think that program's got a culture that's not very good too, because the deadbeat doesn't know how to run a program.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Get in on the conversation this morning. And speaking of said Jimbo Fisher, he and the Aggies have a tough one this week because they have App State coming to town. And remember, App State just put 61 up on North Carolina in a loss at home.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was a tremendous second half by Appalachian at home against
receivers can run the backs. The young man from down in Northwest.
I mean, it was a 40-point fourth quarter. Drake May played really well for Carolina, and they found a way to win. But the Appalachian's tough, and I think they can play at Texas A&M a 4-quarter game. We'll see if that happens.
Here is Jimbo.
I don't mean to get off that. I was going to talk about them. You talk about their offense. Chase Bright's been there 6 years. Set the school record last year, and he lit it up last week. I mean, 6 touchdowns. Receivers can run. The backs, I mean, the young man from Noel from down in Northwestern can fly. Peoples is a big physical back. Receivers, Deshaun, they can play. Tight ends, experienced. Scored a touchdown right off the bat. They pop runs on third down. Their ability. I'm going to tell you what else you look at their roster. Defensively, 9. The outside backer is going to be a high draft pick. Inside 99 is a great player. 8 can run. Secondary 7, 6 is all conference player. If you look, they're 4th, 5th, and 6th year guys. I didn't know those still existed. I kept looking at that roster: 4th year guy, 5th year guy, 6th year guy. I said, daggone. I mean, when you get to that point, you watch that team, and they were a top 5 special teams team in the country a year ago. This team can play in any league, have great players, have gotten a few transfers in, but have recruited well. They believe, they have a culture there. And I'm going to tell you, this is an excellent, excellent football team that can play on all sides of the ball.
How many words per minute was that?
I didn't have the stenographer.
Yeah, that would be tough to keep up.
All right, just a little Jimbo there on App State.
In other words, they have a great culture, and they don't have one of buying players.
True. Let's get to the phone lines. Brandon's with us this morning. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Can we rename Jimbo Boomhauer?
Boomhauer.
At this point, or is that a
Boomhauer?
Boomhauer.
How do I remember that name? Why should I remember Boomhauer?
Yeah.
The guy on King of the Hill.
Yeah, the guy that you couldn't really understand what he was saying.
Yeah, I figured y'all would probably be playing a few of his clips, making fun of him by now. So I'm trying to figure out if that would make Smokey Mike Hank Hill.
Are you Hank Hill, Smokey?
I'll have all your propane accessories.
I watched that show a little bit in school, but I kind of I never got too.
They're supposedly
deep into that show.
re-cranking it up. We'll see.
Well, they're doing that, and they're redoing Beavis and Butthead, which is fantastic. Can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
So I watched every minute of this North Carolina App State game.
Yeah, you were all over it. You wanted it. Now, it ended up being a pick'em though. So did you put money on that game?
Oh yeah, I did.
Who did you take?
But I took App State plus 1.5 and still lost for $100.
Yeah, I know. God, man, and it looks. It was promising at the end.
I thought I had it when it was even, but no, it was locked in at 1.5. I didn't pay really good attention.
Right.
But I thought that Drake May looked really good in that game.
Oh, he did. He's had 2 really good weeks.
He threw like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, but I'm not going to judge Gene Chizik off of his first game. Everybody was blowing him up. They're like, his defense sucked. Give him like you said earlier with like you were talking about
Brian Kelly. Yeah, that's true.
Give him some time to get some players. Give him some time to get some players in there. I figured that Brian Kelly would come in and he would have some problems. I didn't know it would be this bad.
I would 100% agree with that. I thought it would be better. I thought, from a first game perspective, I thought he would be able to get guys in the right places, but it's just obvious when I keep going in my head back to what Moscona said on our show a couple weeks ago, talking about toxic environment. And toxic is an interesting term. That means just really, really bad.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it a player that left a couple weeks ago? Was it a quarterback who left that said that the place was a mess and he didn't even know what they were doing down there?
Miles Brennan, probably.
Brennan. I think it was Brennan that said that, and that caught my attention when he said that, and I thought, okay, you got a quarterback on the way out. Maybe he's just mad that he didn't win the job. But when he said that, I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm thinking, maybe this dude knows what he's talking about. That egregious targeting on the left.
Ollie Gay,
left side guard.
yes.
Ollie Gay, yeah. I don't know. Can you teach the stupid out of somebody to not do stuff like that?
He's got to be smarter than that. I mean, he hit the guy right under the chin. I mean, as soon as he hit Jordan Travis got up and knew. I mean, he was asking for the flag, and you could see as soon as they showed the replay that he was going to be done.
Even Brian Kelly said yesterday or the other day after responding to that he's not going to, he's not going to basically take it easy on Gay. That, I mean, he knows that basically he said that was targeting. He knew it was targeting. He's got to be better than that, and he's not going to let up on him and take it easy on him and give him a free pass for making a really dumb play.
Yeah.
And over the weekend, we had 3 TVs going. I took one to my buddy's house, another person brought one, so we had 3 of them going. There were so many games because it was so good. And one of my friends says, I'm going to take a shot every time they say targeting.
Oh, Lord.
Well, about midway through the day, I told him, I said, you better stop before you die. I don't think I have ever heard the word targeting said as many times last football weekend as I've heard it said probably in an entire season.
Man.
It was so bad. It seemed like every other replay they were reviewing targeting in these games. And they've just taken it way too far.
Well, if you want to stay sober, just watch the Iowa State game and take a drink every time Iowa scores a touchdown.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. You will not
no touchdowns in a game at all. Neither team scored.
Yeah, you won't get a sniff.
Well, and I respect Kirk Ferentz and don't like to take shots at Iowa, but if you're that lineman who was really great and is signing up to go to Iowa, and you take a look at that, do you not look and say, yeah, do I really want to be here? Because if you're struggling to score 7 points, I don't know how good that's going to do for your recruitment as far as getting into the NFL and getting picked in a high round.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, since beating Penn State last year, Iowa has had as many touchdown passes as defensive special teams, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Their quarterback over the last 9 games, Drew, this is good. 1 touchdown, 8 interceptions.
Oh, boy.
And a multiple safety game.
Yeah.
Multiple safety.
I don't remember the last time I've seen a football game that a team got 2 safeties in a game. I tried to look that up when you said that earlier and couldn't find anything on it. It must have been quite a while since somebody's done that. I did find the video that I sent Scott of the 1-point safety of Mac Brown against Francione back in 12, and I could not believe watching that video. I said, my God, was TV quality that bad back in 2012?
Yeah, it was.
It's about as bad a quality as that ball game.
All right, Brandon.
Get a 1-point safety.
I hate to do it to you, but we are up against a break. We got to get to Vince Ferrara. So let's get to Vince, and we're going to talk Tennessee Pitt. They've got a tough one on the road.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I don't see any problems to deal with at this point. Traffic seems to be moving along nicely. We're still dealing with a heavy traffic load, so we got a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode trying to make it in this morning. Snelling needs experienced, registered nurses. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hi everybody, Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314. Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard. And the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. We've been kind of going over on, you know what, we were talking about, is it the point now where Kentucky needs to beat Florida, not, go there and have a good showing. If they win, great. If not, it means something. Is Tennessee at that point now where they need to go to Pitt and win this game for everybody to really start taking the ball seriously?
Well, no, I mean, to show, progress from year 1 to year 2 under Brian Harsin, yes. I mean, this is a game they started out well last year under Joe Milton before he lost the job. They were up 14-0, if I remember correctly, but Pitt came back with a vengeance. Now they're headed to Pittsburgh to play this game. Tennessee was ultra impressive in their first ball game, 59-10 over the Ball State Cardinals. Now they will head to Pittsburgh, and they are a solid 6.5-point favorite. Hendon Hooker picked right up where he left off last year, was extremely impressive. This fall offense looked really good, and we're going to talk to our next guest about that from Sports Radio WNML in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Sports Animal 99.1, and, of course, part of the Vols IMG Radio Network, and it's Vince Ferrara. Vince, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Oh, it's great to be with you guys. I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're doing well, and I know you always break it down as well as anyone. Before we you delve into the matchup with Pitt, just your initial thoughts on Tennessee systematically dismantling Ball State.
Yeah, biggest thing, took care of business, so didn't mess around with them. They bossed the game like they were in control, like they were the massive favorite. That's the way you want to see a team handle that. Not everyone around college football that was in that situation did that. That was a positive, too. That led to them being able to play a lot of guys and not add unnecessary snaps to their starters that last year and in years past played a lot of snaps in the totality of the year, and you want to avoid that in these kind of games. So that was a positive. 3, they stayed healthy in the game. They didn't have Juwan Mitchell as one of their linebackers. A couple other guys were held out precautionary, but they didn't come out of there with any additional injuries. So they accomplished what they needed to. They looked like they had intensity, effort, energy, urgency, all those things that you want to see, especially with this high-tempo offense.
Well, we were looking at it, and they were able to get one of the things last year, they weren't able to get the teams off the field in third down. Tennessee did a good job of getting Ball State off the field and staying and converting third downs themselves.
Better in that area, for sure, Scott. Now, there was a couple of plays they gave up in both of those situations. I don't think it was a great test. Ball State's not a very good football team. So, but you still, if you didn't see any progress, then that would have been a little bit more alarming. That was a positive. Also, Tennessee was pretty vanilla in what they were doing defensively. One of the bigger sort of criticisms was that Tennessee did not get a sack in the game. So, but Ball State, they were getting rid of the football so quickly. There really wasn't a ton of opportunities. They were cut blocking as well, which no D line wants to see either. So, there weren't as many opportunities, but that's another. It's not a total area of concern yet, but it's something to monitor, that they're going to be better. That and the cornerbacks. I think the cornerbacks, even though they had two guys, Christian Charles and Warren Burrell, get a majority of the snaps, with Kamal Haddon, the former Auburn transfer, play a little bit. Overall, I don't think they were tested very much. So that's still an area TBD with Pitt and others moving forward to see if those areas are improved, because they're going to be big for them to take that next step defensively. And
it was interesting. Tennessee played on Thursday. So did Pitt in the backyard brawl with West Virginia. Pitt winning that game 38-31. I know you guys have had a chance to go back and watch that game. Pitt, though, looking a lot different offensively, more of a run-based approach. Now, Slovis made some big plays in the passing game, but really not as wide open as we saw under Mark Whipple a year ago.
Yeah, for sure. Pat Narduzzi wanted to get back to running the football. Frank Signetti has been there, obviously a guy with Alabama ties you guys are familiar with too, and they were different. I mean, they're doing traditional play action type stuff. They're going to want to run the ball. I didn't think they ran the ball as well as they would want to, and so some of those they gave up some sacks too, which also took away from the rushing yards. But I expected a little bit more from them in that area. But Hammond looked like their best back. Abanikanda was their starter going in. Now those two are oars on the depth chart. So I do think that's an area Pitt's going to really work on and pound the football how does Tennessee handle that? They haven't seen a ton of those kind of teams that run some more, and then will play action off of it. I think because Pitt was a little bit behind, and it was one of the rivalry games, they probably threw more than they would have liked. But we'll see. The score oftentimes dictates that. But Slovis is, I think, a good quarterback. He didn't turn the ball over, threw for over 300 yards. Wasn't perfect. I think he held on to the ball at times. We'll see. Tennessee's going to have to get pressure because they gave up 5 sacks, and maybe there's some openings there for Tennessee to be able to get to Slovis and move him off the spot.
Yeah, no question. And then what I know you said that the cornerbacks are still unproven for Tennessee in your mind, but what did you think of the overall front seven? It looked like they really controlled the line of scrimmage, and I know they didn't get any sacks, but you talk about the old affect the quarterback.
Yeah, there was we saw at times some guys flash. I think they did a good job against Ball State's run, and that Jeremy Banks was active. You saw some of their secondary guys be able to come in and make a few plays. Aaron Beasley had, I thought, a really good game as that second linebacker, while Juwan Mitchell, the Texas transfer, was out. And then they had a true freshman in Joshua Josephs, who's a 4-star kid, great body, and even Tim Banks said this week that he plays bigger than his size, but he's still pretty good size, 6'3", 220-ish, with room to put more size on and more weight on. He has super long arms, very athletic, kind of he's in the same position as Byron Young and that Leo, but they played him some early snaps. They know he's explosive, great change of direction, and has huge upside. There's a couple other guys in there that got not as many snaps, but some that they're going to build up on. But I thought they were solid, and that's kind of what this group is. They're not spectacular right now, but they're solid. They need Banks, Barron, and Young, their 3 best front 7 guys. They need them to be high level, almost all SEC types, for this defense to make a jump, considering they're younger in a few spots in the back end.
While Tennessee and Pitt both have played a game, you could say that Pitt's challenge was a little bit tougher in their opener with West Virginia. Tennessee, had but both teams learned a lot about each other. Tennessee now has to go on the road. Vince, what did you see from Tennessee in that opener, though, that says, okay, here goes a team on the road for the first time this year, ranked for the first time, playing a ranked team that says, okay, they can compete and they can win this game?
Well, there's no absolutes, right? Because a lot of times it's individual guys. If one guy gets nervous that you rely on, or loses his focus, or can't handle the lights, or maybe isn't mature enough to do the right things in the lead up to it in his private time that you need to get your headspace right, then that one kid being off could end up being a breakdown that leads to a difference-making play. So you just never know how each one of these young guys handle their situations. But overall, I think the culture and the leadership is so good on this team. The confidence that they carry themselves, Scott, I would point to that too. They carry themselves like they were the much better team, like they were one of the better teams or top, maybe second-tier teams in the SEC. And they were business-like while having urgency. So those are things that I think can translate. If they would have come out of this game with a really sloppy performance and, areas being really exposed, a tougher close game or something, they had to rally back, something like that, then you can take a ton of concern out of that. Because Tennessee was business-like and handled their business like a favorite, I think that should give them confidence. It doesn't guarantee anything, but at least there's not anything you point to that says they can't do it. And they're just a pretty talented and faster team also, and I think that could help them against a bigger physical Pitt team.
Well, and what are the keys to this matchup, Vince? We're talking to Vince Ferraro, Sports Radio WNML. I mean, Pitt's got a good D-line. Certainly running the football and being balanced is going to be a key for the Vols. But what's going to be the biggest key in your mind, or keys for Tennessee going on the road? And I think this would be a signature win for Josh Heupel in year 2.
I agree. They're a ranked team. They're a top 20 team. A win at Pitt will move the needle.
Yes.
And look, there's expectations with them. You mentioned 6.5, 7-point favorites. So that line has moved up from in the offseason, I think it was at 3.
Mm-hmm.
So even though Pitt is the higher-ranked team, and the home team, Tennessee, is the touchdown favorite, which is interesting. But I think they're worthy of it. I like Tennessee in this game. I think it'll be a much tougher game. It'll be a closer game. But in terms of the keys, you hit on one of them, and that's balance. And I think the balance is important for both teams. Tennessee cannot be one-dimensional because that's what Pitt does. Their defense is based on stopping the run. They weren't very good at it against West Virginia, which is very surprising. Pat Narduzzi teams always stop the run. I think it was 26 straight games where they had held an opponent under 200 yards rushing. Now, that's true rushing yards. You take some of the sacks off, then that got them to like 190. But overall, they still gave up more than 200 yards rushing. They're much better than that, and I would expect them to be better. So Tennessee cannot be one-dimensional against Pitt, or else they're going to cause all kinds of havoc in the backfield. Another thing is the lead. I think Tennessee playing from up front allows them to do so much on first down, allows them with so many options. Hendon Hooker spreading the ball out. I think he hit 10 different receivers in that game. So he's got a much greater grasp of the offense, what the coaches want. I think they have more options to go with. So if they have the lead, it's going to be more difficult for Pitt to have to defend. And then another thing is the typical of the turnovers. Tennessee was clean in week 1. You don't want to give Pitt a short field because then they can run the football on you and kind of make up for some of that gap in terms of their team speed. So those would be a few of them, but I would expect a better Pitt team than what we saw against West Virginia. I just also think you will see a Tennessee team rise to the level of the competition as well and win this game on the road.
This would be huge for Josh Heupel, no doubt, and for the SEC, and further cement the fact that Tennessee could very well be a top 2 team in the SEC East. And, of course, that Kentucky-Florida game will go a long way to deciding that as well. But it would lead to bigger matchups down the road for Tennessee against both those teams. But, Vince, thanks for the intel and the thoughts. It's going to be a big game for the Vols coming up on the road on Saturday. Let everybody know how to follow your coverage.
Yeah, and another cool aspect of it is the Johnny Majors Classic.
Absolutely. Great point.
Yeah, one of the legendary coaches for both of those two programs. And I heard there's some really good T-shirts and features that they're going to do at that game. They did it, the first one in Knoxville last year, and it was a close game. And I'm guessing Tennessee wants a little payback after that was a game where they lost their center. They lost Joe Milton. Hendon Hooker took over and never gave up the job. So it was a very interesting game last year, and you get to play at an NFL stadium. So, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Vince Sports, VINCE Sports. Predictions, tons of coverage from UT. They give us a lot of interviews, and we'll have all the reaction to the Tennessee Pitt game, and then get into these regular Saturday game weeks after that crazy Thursday for us last week.
Thanks, Vince.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Be good.
All right, we got to get a break in. Your tomorrow's headlines today. Mother Nature wreaking havoc on high school football. We'll explain.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We are wrapping things up this morning with a clean slate. We don't have any wrecks, stalls, or traffic signal problems to report to you. You be careful on the rest of that trip in. We have a lot of folks scrambling, trying to get in on time this morning. The Cajun rice is back at Popeyes, and their 11-piece chicken family meal with 2 sides and 5 biscuits is now only $22.99. Popeyes University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
The 2 words we live by. The coach we follow. All right, blow the horn. Let's go. The famous call we love to hear. Touchdown, Alabama! It's good to be a Bama fan. Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide head to the Lone Star State to face the Texas Longhorns. Our coverage begins at 8 a.m. on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of ice from LG's exclusive slow-melting craft ice for better-tasting drinks, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Final days get up to 25% off, plus $750 instant savings on select LG appliances through July 13th. Valid June 22nd through July 13th, U.S. only. Gas range extra. See store for details.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on at advancedlifeclinic.com.
Do you know that your car or truck or SUV may be worth up to 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and now is the perfect time to trade in, trade up to a gold certified or blue certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. While our new vehicle inventory continues to build back, our Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles are nearing 100 models to choose from, and a good variety too. Woody Anderson Ford Gold certified vehicles are 6 years or younger with less than 80,000 miles and have passed 172-point inspection by factory certified technicians. They have a 14-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee, a great comprehensive limited warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and go home with full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Get nearly a new ride and none of the worries. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan Spartman. Hope to see you soon.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but one have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Looks like Mother Nature is trying to stay undefeated as she always has on Friday night, and it does look like we may not have the best of weather to play high school football on Friday. I'm not going to say it's going to be bad, but it looks like it's not going to be great because several teams have already moved their games to Thursday. Mm-hmm. We just had Coach Jerry Adcock on earlier tonight, and he has told us that the Decatur game, as of right now, is still being played on Friday. But Priceville and DAR, they have moved their game to Thursday night to try to beat Mother Nature. And there are several other games that we have here. I got to pull these up that we know that have been moved to Thursday night. Mm-hmm. And some of those are, let me see if I can find them here. I had a list here of some of the games. So far, we know that Collinsville at Pisgah, Gunnersville and Douglas, Fairview at Good Hope, West End at Southeastern, Russellville at West Point, West Morgan at Central Florence, Deschler at East Lawrence, Coosa Christian at Decatur Heritage, Vinemont at Brindley Mountain. Those are some of the games that have been moved to Thursday night. And I know, I believe, we'll probably have more, and we'll continue to monitor that. As of right now, you know we're also the home this year for Randolph Raider football. No change there. They are supposed to take on the North Jackson Chiefs in a key 4A Region 8 game at Sports Med Field. It's slated still for right now at 7 o'clock, so we'll continue to monitor that. And a huge challenge, we talked about it, Whitesburg Christian Academy. They are putting a win streak on the line against the Fife Red Devils and Coach Paul. Okay, I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this. If Whitesburg Christian wins this game, they are the team of the week next week. We'll just go ahead and call it. And then we're done with team of the week. We're done. We're done. If you do this, if you pull this off, it'll be the upset of the year in the state. Yes. All right, that's going to do it for our 2 hours. You only yelled at Dirk Neck and one time, so we've held that in check. I haven't been talking about scumbag a lot this week. No, but we got a Thursday show to do tomorrow, and then Friday we're going to be at Metro Diner because they're our zone deal. So we're going to have breakfast on Friday morning, get you ready for college football. But we'll be back at it tomorrow. Croissant French toast. We'll be at Decatur today at 3. Decatur at 3 today.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative